Hello, thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. This is Josh. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about the Anchor.fm app. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. My name is Josh, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking about The Rhythm Section, starring Blake Lively, Jude Law, and Sterling K. Brown. Directed by Reed Morano, written by Mark Burnell, based on the novel by Mark Burnell. So the Rhythm Section was my most anticipated release of 2020, not because I was interested in the film, but because over the last 6 months or so, this trailer for this film has played before practically every movie I've seen. So I've seen the trailer far too many times, way more times than I could have ever wanted to. It also ended up started popping up on my social media accounts, so I had to watch at least the first 15 seconds there as well. So I was ready for this film to come out so I could stop seeing the trailers everywhere, and it finally has come out. So the Rhythm Section is about Blake Lively, who plays Stephanie Patrick. Her family, her brother, sister, and parents are in a plane crash that a reporter claims was actually not an accident, but was in fact a terrorist incident. I would say this leads Stephanie on a path of something, but unfortunately in this film, things don't typically happen one after the other. There's a lot of random goings on here. Many scenes don't follow from the last to the next. There's an extended side mission sequence that essentially does nothing, and this is in the second latter half of the film. And that would be my main complaint here, is that there's no rhythm to this. Ironically, there's no rhythm to the story. A lot of things just happen in a sequence, and then the film comes to an end. As a revenge film, this doesn't really work because the character of Stephanie Patrick never seems to want vengeance very much. She kind of wants it in a passive sense, but you never get the feeling that she actually wants to unless the scene particularly needs her to. But then she's easily distracted by other things, and nothing really seems to be driving the story forward. The film was directed by Reed Morano, who the trailer for the film says is a visionary director. She directed a few episodes of television, including The Handmaid's Tale. She also directed a film called I Think We're Alone Now, that, if I'm not mistaken, I have not seen. And I have not seen that, so I can't compare this to that at all. Outside of that, the performances are fine. I think Blake Lively was directed to be a little over the top sometimes, to really try to push emotions that are not really addressed in the film, but are more, they're trying to make you feel something that is not portrayed well in the film. The tagline is witness the birth of an assassin, and this film kind of feels like the exact opposite of that. Having seen the film, if I was trying to explain what this film is about, I don't think I would be able to. There doesn't seem to be a point too much of anything in this story. Like, I know that there are certain beats that happen, but I'm not sure why they were chosen to be portrayed in this. As far as the direction in the film, I would say it is fine at best. It's hard to tell how much of the problems of the pacing of this film, of which there are many, is based on the direction or the screenplay. A lot of the scenes in this, the most important scenes, are kind of glossed over, and scenes that don't really matter much are extended out and dragged out. For example, and this isn't really a spoiler because it doesn't have any impact on the film really, Blake Lively is contracted to kill some random person that we have no connection to and never really learn much about. And everything leading up to the assassination is skipped over in montage, but then a scene of Blake Lively being upset after a thing is played out in real time. So there's no real tension in any of the action scenes. There's no real sense of danger because everything is just kind of glossed over and chopped up so that you can't really let anything breathe. And then the scenes that don't need to breathe are dragged out for far too long. Overall, I would say that as a revenge film, this film does not succeed because we never get the sense that the main character wants the revenge. It doesn't really work as an action sequence because there are only two action sequences that aren't hastily cut and brushed over, one of which is fine. That is between Blake Lively, a fight scene between Blake Lively and Jude Law. And then later on there is a car chase that appeared to be one long sequence. The only problem with that is you never really get a sense of what's actually happening. Most of the frame is out of focus, so you can't really tell what's happening, and then things are whipping back quickly, so it's hard to tell what's happening. Overall, I'm going to give the rhythm section 5 Clooney's out of 10. Thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Views. Stay tuned for more new release films coming out soon. Thank you for listening. Please check out the Moist Boys podcast and the After Show podcast for more great content. And we'll be back next time.